welcome to another edition of the Oh No Wrestling podcast. It's myself, the Shark Break Kid tonight, Owen. Along with me, and just with me tonight, is my good friend Duncan, the King of Bong Style. We do apologize that Matthew will not be with us this evening. He's dealing with some personal life issues, and, you know, as much as we love wrestling, and wrestling is life, sometimes you gotta kind of deal with the real world and maybe ditch the kayfabe for just an evening.
The real world sucks.
Yeah.
That's why we are going to talk about wrestling.
That's indeed correct. I will say we have to thank all of you for dealing with our abbreviated show last week.
Yes.
And thank you for all the kind words for your precious little doggy, Kiyoki. There was a ton of, you're not on Facebook, but there was a ton of, support and love for the little dude, in our group. So, yeah, we wish, we know he's doing a lot better. And, have you heard any further updates or?
Yeah, he came out of it.
Yeah.
He came out of it. I mean, we talked after we got done with the show and kind of called it. And yeah, it was just like, because it was sort of a bigger, longer than normal kind of seizure.
Yeah.
It's like not necessarily out of the ordinary. He's a 14-year-old Chihuahua. It's been a thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, Matthew is kind of the best with animals.
Yes.
Out of anybody I've ever seen in my life. And so he and I were both like, we're not going to really be able to concentrate on anything else other than making sure that he's okay.
Yeah, so. and that was, it's kind of identical to not identical, but it's a similar situation this week where Matthew's just like, hey, I'm dealing with a lot of shit, and I just can't really concentrate.
Do life.
Yeah, it's hard to be funny and have a joke about wrestling and shit when you have stuff on your mind. So completely understand, and we'll power through. I think we and you have done one or two shows in the past before, just the two of us. So I dare say that we'll be okay. We never have a shortness of things to say, and we'll get right into it because. What a hell of a weekend for wrestling. I mean, especially a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Starting with even just the countdown to Fucktown, my friend.
It was everything I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh man, Paul Heyman's still a scumbag, huh?
Yeah, that was really a bummer to hear them talk about how just the lies that came through from Heyman because I think we were all kind of excited when we found out that Heyman was going to be taking over the operations for Raw especially, and I think he did some good in his time there, but also
I'd say so, yeah.
But it seems like, hey, maybe there were a lot of promises made, and you gotta love that as soon as they could, the Good Brothers
they're just like, fuck Paul Heyman.
Fuck Paul Heyman, yeah.
He's a lying piece of
fuck
shit.
You, buddy!
Oh my god.
But no, it was really fun hearing about what they were going to be doing next. Obviously, the big announcement was that they were signed to Impact on a 2-year deal,
right?
Which also allows them to compete in New Japan Wrestling as well. They've said New Japan specifically, but I wonder if that allows them to work anywhere they want as long as it doesn't interfere with Impact's schedule.
I mean, maybe. It's obviously one of those things where if that is a condition of their contract, they would want to keep that secret.
Yeah.
So that if they did want to show up at Ring of Honor or AEW, that they could.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to be like people won't be predicting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll try and keep a lid on that one. But I love the idea of them going back to Japan.
Yeah, and especially for Chad Carl, you know, like he's got such. I mean, both of them do, but you know, Chad had such great success in Japan in the past.
I like how you put the glasses on and you start like just breaking kayfabe, like you know the brother.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you're just like, like we're just like oh yeah, me and Chad? No, we totally
too
totally
bad,
know each
too
other.
bad, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
So I man, he got robbed of the potential that he had as a main event superstar. For that matter, they got robbed of the potential that they have as a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
WWE doesn't ever know what the fuck they want to do with their tag team division.
No, they don't.
They want to do one thing and then they kind of just like, well, you know what we should do is we should probably put the belt on the New Day. And I love the New Day. Please don't mistake.
No, absolutely.
But
I heard a crazy statistic today, and this just shows you how like abused the tag team division is. Did you realize that since the inception of the Raw and SmackDown, you know, split of the brand split and the Raw tag team titles, the Street Profits are the longest reigning Raw tag team champions? Isn't that nuts?
No shit.
Yeah, I know. And the next one to that, and it's something like maybe 90 days, something around that region. Can't remember exactly, but the next ones to that, number 2, is the Viking Raiders, who they beat, who seemed in my mind to have it only for, you know, a fleeting second
like
themselves.
An hour?
Yeah. So
that's so weird.
It just goes to show how hot potato they are with those belts in probably both SmackDown and Raw.
I feel like most of the belts right now are just props, especially in WWE anyway. Like, and that sucks because I want them to take it more seriously. Like, I feel, well, they take it more seriously in NXT.
They do.
But there's just such a, I don't know, sort of a, just like, the belts don't matter. And I'm like, but the belts do matter.
Yeah.
Because the belts are still, you know what I mean? Like the titles are still relevant and they still have history. You know what I mean? And you can and granted, there's been a lot of hot potato and back and forth with those two as well. But Jesus Christ, the way that over the last 3 years they've sort of just kind of been like, we can give any belt to anybody. It's like, well, we'll give it to gender. Well, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And it even goes back to the countdown to Fucktown and what they were saying as they were promised as an incentive to stick around or what have you, and one of those, you know, Paul Heyman promises that fell through. We'll give you the tag team, you know, belts, as if that's like a reason. They gave no fucks. We don't care if we're champions or not. Like we're good at what we do. We want to do what we do. And
right.
You know, this basically, like, you trying to use the belts as kind of a bargaining device means nothing to us, especially given what you've done to those belts.
Yeah. Dude, and it was just like so shitty because once again, they're a great tag team. The problem that I found with the, you know, like maybe 20 years ago, maybe the belts meant something. The belts meant enough that like you would get a bump in TV time, which led to a bump in merch, which led to a bump in pay. Like,
yeah.
So maybe back in the day that would have carried something. Back when Heyman was negotiating on regular TV deals, you know, like ECW days, like of course it would have meant something.
Absolutely.
But nowadays it's like, yeah, it's not, especially those titles. Like, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? And I think maybe in NXT it means a little bit more still. I feel like they has a little bit more clout in what you're saying. And maybe the top 2 titles on you know, the Universal and the, you know, the Heavyweight Championship or whatever we call it these days.
world, or I think maybe it is just the WWE Championship. We should know.
We should know.
Titles
we
are.
should know. I'm looking at the belt right now. What does it say on it? I can't. I think it says World Heavyweight Champion. So,
but
yeah.
That also like now may just say Heavyweight Champion.
Oh fuck if I know. But yeah, it's like the US and the IC. Like the Miz at least elevated that title for a while, but and AJ's kind of doing the same. It seems like the most important belt on that brand, currently, especially when Braun Strowman's got the Universal, title. But realistically, they're just like you said, they're props. And that's all. That's all.
They are props.
Yeah, that's all I can really.
They are props. I don't know. It's hard for me to give a shit about the Universal title because they have fucked that up so hard.
So hard.
So like, why do I care about that? Like, why do I care about fucking Goldberg won that one? Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I especially like Goldberg won that in 2020. Like,
yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah,
I mean, that does sound completely 2020.
It does.
Now that I fucking mention it, but Jesus Christ, yeah, it's fucking, it's a sad thing that those guys wasted what would have been such a big payday and payoff if the plans that they originally had for AEW would have come through.
Yeah, and that was one of the big takeaways from Countdown to Fucktown. If you don't know what that is, by the way, that was Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows on their Talking Shop podcast
with Rocky Romero.
Azucar
Rock.
Yeah. Them talking about their experience in WWE and their release, and as soon as they could, talking about all the, what they were going to be doing for their future and what happened, regarding everything. But yeah, I do feel like it was kind of obviously wasted. It sounded. Do you want to tell the good brothers out there what was going to happen for the Good Brothers originally if they hadn't re-signed with WWE?
So they were originally going to show up at, was it Double or Nothing, or was it the first Dynamite?
I think it was the first Dynamite. I think it was the first Dynamite that they were talking about. Yeah, it was the first Dynamite.
You gotta remember that, like, I watched this at 2 a.m. when I was stoned and almost falling asleep, and I haven't gone back and properly rewatched it again. Namely because I'm a wife. I say that like she doesn't love them. So that's actually bullshit.
But it's it's a 2 hour extravaganza, if you will.
Of them just talking bullshit. So it's actually perfect in every way, much like Talking Shop is. But yeah, so they would have
debuted at Dynamite, and I think they were going to they were gonna destroy someone. Now it slipped my mind. Weren't they gonna destroy the Young Bucks? I think that was the idea.
So. I think it was gonna they were gonna look like they were gonna rejoin the Young Bucks and sort of reform Bullet Club, and then they turned and they were gonna destroy the Bucks.
Yeah, and get super heat and have what an amazing opening episode of Dynamite that would have been. Not to say it was bad, as it was, but yeah, just the idea of them in AEW, would have been huge. And I think obviously now with hearing the podcast, they might have burned some bridges a little bit.
I mean, I don't think they've burned them. They're a little warmer.
Yeah,
but they were on the last
BTE.
Yeah, so I don't know. Deuce brings up a good point of like about the younger talent being able to get more TV time, because obviously like that would have eaten up a big chunk of time and other things like that. So that's also a very valid point, and I think that given the circumstances also of the world, they've done a really good job of making newer stars.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it was going to be the Good Brothers versus the Elite. So
yeah. But a good opening feud for the Elite as well.
Yeah.
And a good way to kind of introduce everything all at once, and a good way to, you say that about the younger talent, but I don't think that either one, it wouldn't have been for the belts. So it would have been nice to kind of have a great opening feud for the Bucks and utilize the two teams in that regard, keeping them out of the title picture because they wouldn't have needed that. I think SCU still would have become the first tag team champions. I think you still probably would have had the same sort of thing going on with Kenny and Hangman. I don't think it would have taken away from that, but who knows? I mean, it's all, hindsight 2020 and all that bullshit. So, I think that was one of the major takeaways. I did like seeing them on Being the Elite, just to kind of clarify. I wonder if that they had. I don't know when that would have been recorded. That was the one thing that it was confusing to it, for me about it, because obviously it's kind of like supposed to be flashback, scenario.
It was set in 2016, sir.
Yes, it was. But
it
clearly wasn't in 2016. So with COVID and everything, like how they pulled that off, and with the Bucks being in Jacksonville, did they go down to Jacksonville?
Okay, so the Bucks are in Jacksonville. Anderson lives in Tampa. Gallows lives in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah,
just drive.
You're right.
Like, that's an easy drive.
Yeah, they just did it, probably the week before or something. Before they probably had done that before they did the podcast, is what my best guess is. So
maybe
I think they're throwing a bit of a red herring out there as to kind of like distract us from the fact they might eventually turn up in AEW, which is obviously the big speculation. I don't want to say it's a complete work, but I think there's something going on there, especially with them appearing. I don't think it's going to happen straight away. I think it'll probably happen maybe a year down the road.
It should. Yeah, and I don't think it should happen straight away.
Definitely
not. I think you definitely want to catch people off guard with it. Mm-hmm. So you want to let them be in. You want to let them be in Impact for a while, because they're not going to be able to get to Japan for a while, is my guess.
That's a good point. And
because they're Americans, and like we aren't allowed anywhere right now.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I'll also say too that 2 years is kind of a nothing deal, to be honest with you. They're getting good money from all accounts, like surprisingly good money from Impact. But in the terms of wrestling, 2 years seems to go by in a blink of an eye. And before you know it, that contract could be up. They could be going to AEW afterwards. Who knows? Like
yeah, absolutely. They still have time. Like a 2-year deal is. It's not like what was their deal with WWE that they got? Was it like a 5 or
4? I want to say it was 4. It was a pretty big deal before they canceled, because they were under the thought process that they were probably going to end their careers in WWE.
Correct.
And hey, how things change.
Hey, I mean, there's nothing that I would love to see more than the Good Brothers show up pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's not. Okay, who's running shows right now?
True.
Right?
AEW, WWE, and Impact.
That's it.
I mean, New Japan have started though, right?
New Japan are?
Yeah,
no, New Japan definitely are.
They've started. I haven't caught really much of anything.
Back.
Well, yeah, you're right, because the whole evil thing and the whole Bullet Club thing. Yeah.
Yep. And the most important, like, they actually have crowds back because they took shit seriously.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Once again, I think that I like I sent you a clip today, and it was Wade Barrett saying that he would be surprised if NWA ran another show this year.
Which is sad and kind of a little bit confusing as well. I mean, I understand they're being safe, but they have such an ability. They could be doing closed-off shows, you know, because they're already a closed set show anyway.
Sure.
But I understand it. Better safe than sorry.
I mean, they definitely could. And what, weren't they filming in Nashville?
No, I think that was...
Where were they filming?
It was Georgia, I believe.
Is it Georgia? I know that
Georgia.
Impact filmed in Nashville.
Nashville's the Impact Zone is now in Georgia or whatever. Or sorry, in
first
Nashville.
Of all,
in Nashville.
We know where the Impact Zone will always be.
Yeah, in our hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
The backlot of Universal Studios Orlando.
Exactly.
Soundstage, what, 20? Or no?
No, don't put me on the spot with 20.
No.
24?
No, it wasn't 20. It was 24. It was 24.
24.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a sign that says Impact Zone, and it's got an arrow pointing that way because, like, when they were tearing the set out, like, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna. Yeah, of course I did. You know me. Anything that's not nailed down.
Exactly. But moving on from Countdown, we'll go into Slammiversary, which we were both able to watch, and I've got to say, well done, Impact. Like
only one match that took me out.
Well, was the gauntlet, the women's gauntlet match?
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
Yay, Kylie Ray, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I think if we were regular Impact watchers and we were familiar with whatever the whole like
that Johnny Bravo and
Valkyrie,
the Johnny Bravo thing, or isn't that
whatever the fuck that was?
Yeah. I didn't get that, but
it sucks too because I really like Taya Valkyrie.
Right.
Like, I really like Taya Valkyrie, but that whatever that was not good.
No, it was sloppy. Aside from any of the storyline stuff that we didn't just quite get as not being regular viewers, it felt like a really sloppy match. Like it wasn't well agented.
There was too much going on.
Yeah, and I didn't hate
enough going on.
And I didn't hate the stipulation. Like we said, it's a lot to digest at first.
What did you say? You said, let's add some more stipulations to this match.
Let's add some more rules to this. Okay. But then again, AEW did the same fucking thing with the Casino Battle Royal, so I can't knock, it's not just, It wasn't not just their fault.
Because anything you do, because WWE's rules at this point are so simple for everything, it's a lot harder for somebody to try and stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's going to, like AEW, it's like, this is a complicated battle royal. Even when we were in Vegas at Double or Nothing,
we both were just like, huh?
What is happening?
Just let it happen. I don't even care about the rules anymore. We'll just watch this and whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
None of this matters.
No, exactly. we had such a good time that honestly, you could have put fucking 10 people in potato sacks and have them roll around in a ring. I still would have watched it.
And that I will say that and All In, like Double or Nothing and All In, like it's like we're two nights that nothing, like there were no down moments.
Not a single
one. There
one.
were no down moments.
Especially for us in the live audience, I wasn't at All In, but at Double or Nothing, it just seemed like, oh man, the adrenaline that we had coming out of that show was unfucking real. Like, absolutely amazing. Deuce brings up a great point, and I did get to see about the first 45 minutes of Impact tonight on Twitch, which is great that they're still rolling shows over on Twitch. But I really was enjoying it, and they apparently had about triple the number of usual viewers that they get on Twitch tonight than it was around. It's still on right now, and I can see just on my followed channels they're at 7.9 thousand people on Twitch right now.
That's awesome.
We're great.
So
yeah. Well, we're missing. I'll put a K in there.
yeah, 2K, definitely.
Honestly, it's impossible for us to be at 2 because I know we've at least got more. We've got
at least three.
At least 3. So so it's wrong, motherfuckers. Get it right. No,
right.
But yes. It's Good Brothers came out tonight and cut a great promo, basically saying, "Hey, we're the reason that Slammiversary trended worldwide #1. We're the reason that you people are tuning in back into Impact, and they ain't wrong." It's surprising to me, that there's even a possibility of Impact making a return. This is something that I consider to be long, especially when AEW and AEW has been so strong as a competitor to WWE.
And Ring of Honor was going so hard.
Absolutely. The Impact.
And WWE and NXT and NXT UK.
Yeah.
And New Japan.
100%. It seems just like, wow, they've got a shot. And it's nice they've kind of got their little spot on Tuesdays. I think the important thing for them is to just keep what they're doing, kind of stay in their lane. They've made a big impact now with signing some of these guys either back or to new contracts or whatever. Having EC3 come in, having Eric Young return, even having Rich Swann kind of make his
come back from injury that people thought he was going to be out, and then having the Motor City Machine Guns come back. Dude, this is what, the 4th or 5th resurrection of Impact Wrestling?
Oh yeah, they've tried so many times.
Dude, because there were at least 3 attempts when it was at the factory.
Well, it's the little engine that could, and it's the thing that, why won't you die?
It is but at the same time, man, that match with Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo, that was a really good match.
It really was. The X Division match was fantastic. Yeah. Willie Mack and Chris Bay. Is it Chris Bay? Sorry.
Dashing Chris Bay.
Yeah. That was fantastic. By the way, they had a rematch tonight, which Willie Mack, I believe, lost. Heath Slater and Zack Ryder's tag team partner showed up. Zach, what does he mean? Zack Ryder's tag team partner.
Heath Slater.
No, is he referring to Kurt Hawkins?
Yes.
Oh, so did Kurt Hawkins show up tonight?
Apparently,
maybe Kurt showed up. That's cool.
Well, and then Mike and Maria.
Yeah.
What is it? It's Mike Bennett, not Kanellis.
Wait.
Or is he still going by Kanellis on?
I don't know.
I think he might have. Anyway, he's a free agent now, free to go wherever he wants.
There's shots of Maria in the Talking Shop of Mania promo. So so one would assume they're both gonna be there, and while we're on the topic of that, fucking Enzo.
Fucking Enzo.
Fucking Enzo.
I'm assuming that somebody's gonna come out and just smash him.
It'd be cool if it was Cass. I was gonna say, watch it be Cass. That would be great.
How'd I know that was what you were gonna say?
But that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
No, it would be. I would absolutely of course, that's why I said it, because we both think that it would be a legitimate that our ideal situation is you watch Big Cass come out there, even though he's not my favorite person.
No, he's kind of a tool.
Both
of them are tools.
Fucking Enzo, man.
Yeah, get out of here, Enzo.
God, you fucking And yet, for how many years did we go, and you can't teach that? Fucking terrible. We're terrible people. Yeah. We all bought into it. We sold them. We made them so much money. It's terrible. Yeah. Although they probably have lost it by now.
Oh, well, I'm sure Cass drank it all, and then fucking Enzo did.
Cass has that knee body going on.
Yeah, he does. Enzo probably spent most of it at the strip club, so it is what it is. But yeah, Slammiversary, real pleasant surprise.
Yep.
Real big surprise there, and
It was, and there were a couple of moments where I was just like, so this is where the Good Brothers are going to come back, and they didn't, and they swerved it a little bit to make it like, okay.
They held it off to the end.
Yeah.
And then they pulled a nice swerve at the end where they like, are they gonna, maybe start a new faction here with these guys, or are they gonna, help out?
Right.
Are they gonna turn heel essentially on their first night? But no, they didn't. And I think they're probably smarter for not doing that. I think you keep those guys as popular as possible because it's clearly paying off if you look at the numbers tonight. And I never would have thought of really tuning into Impact, but made me do it. So
dude, it's wild.
Good on them. Good on them. I'll definitely. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it weekly, especially because we do the show on Tuesdays.
Well, it's kind of hard for us to we could catch
both.
the first hour, but it's also hard to then prepare for this show.
Absolutely.
Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in the way that we do.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that it's a little bit of a conflict.
No, absolutely. But it is what it is.
But it's just like any other wrestling, right? Like we're gonna watch what we can, and we will catch up where we can with everything else. Because there's too much content, even in a fucking pandemic.
Oh my god, and even there's too much content. Even if you were watching every bit of WWE's content, there's too much. Let alone AEW, Impact. Again, New Japan, Ring of Honor when it comes back, NWA when it comes back. Like it's.
Dude, there's tons of independent shows running right now. Like they're running essentially backyard wrestling shows right now.
Yeah. Which is kind of what Talking Shop-A-Mania seems like it's going to be, more or less.
Dude, exactly. And
it's going to be a beautiful train wreck, is what that thing's going to be.
The Boner Yard match.
Oh yes.
Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad.
You see, dude, he's got his new gear.
He's got the leotard.
And I want to see him make some comment about why he's got no hair now, why he's not wearing the wig. I want to see him kind of make some excuse for that. That's ridiculous. Like he lost it in some, bet somewhere or something.
I'm sure they will, because you can see the hearse in the background, and then like the fucking druids around is just like, all right, one more time, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Face.
Fuck face.
They are the best. I mean, what idiots WWE really are for not recognizing just how goddamn good they are. And they kind of, when they did experiment with them being comedic characters, they didn't do it right. Like, because they scripted everything terribly instead of just letting those guys do what those guys do.
But here's the question. Do the Good Brothers work in a TV PG era?
Not as well.
Not as well at all. Like,
I mean, key point, he had to be Tex Ferguson, for Christ's sake.
Well, I think also
that might have been copyright.
He had been Sex Ferguson on the Indies before. Like that was a sort of an established IP, if you will, of Luke Gallows.
I understand that. They just probably wanted to stay away from that. That makes sense.
Yeah. And also, like WWE being PG, like they are going to call him Tex, not Sex.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My favorite thing about all that was John Cena retweeting all of the bullshit that Gallows was doing, and the best one was like the meme of the dude at the table with the like change my mind.
Yeah.
It's like it's Gallows as Sex Ferguson, all fucking sweaty and drunk, like photoshopped over the dude's face, and it says, "I am the gimmick, change my mind." And I was like, John Cena, meme lord.
John Cena
next
is
level meme lord.
He's all right. He is. I don't mind that guy. I don't mind him. Moving on a bit though to what happened the following day after Slammiversary with WWE's the horror show at Extreme Rules. Whew, okay. The first half of the pay-per-view was pretty good.
I was like, what I watched of the pay-per-view was pretty good before I went on a walk. And then apparently I left the house.
You jinxed it somehow.
Thing turned to shit.
It really, really did. You left the house to go on your walk right around the time, I believe, of the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins eye for an eye match.
Yeah. Well, no, I left during the match.
Did you?
Towards the tail end of the match.
That match, before all the bullshit, was again pretty fucking good.
Yeah, like there were a couple of moments where I was just like, oh, like when he stabbed him in the eye with the broken kendo stick, I was like, yeah, bro, all right, get a little fucking nasty with it.
Absolutely.
I left. I'm pretty sure I was talking to my wife and trying to get out the door as like the bullshit happened.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what happened. I'm turning this dog shit off.
Yeah.
And then it turned out I was right. Like
you were. It was hard. Yeah. That was just cringeworthy. I mean, Seth puking and the fake eyeball thing, and it's just what are we doing
like,
here?
well, how are you gonna book yourself into a corner like that, Bruce? Like for real, man. Like it's not that kind of gimmicky bullshit doesn't really work. And if it does work, you have to not be so blatantly carny about it.
No, I'm with you 100%. I thought I think that pay-per-view started going downhill really with the finish of the Sasha Asuka match. I thought that was a wonderful match. I thought those two put on a goddamn clinic.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I watched some highlights from it. It looked really good. And then I'm just like, why are you... So you have them screw Asuka out of the title, but then Stephanie McMahon comes on Raw yesterday and JK LOL.
And Asuka actually isn't the champion because it's a what? Like what? Yeah, none of it makes sense.
No,
I agree.
None of it makes sense.
It's very confusing where they're trying to go with that. From all reports I've read and heard, that was not the original finish. Vince changed it last minute. Surprise, surprise. Asuka was supposed to retain. There was something that Vince didn't like and decided to, I don't know, change it all around for whatever reason. I was not a big fan of that. That's the problem with
him being the one that has ultimate final say in what happens.
Yeah.
Because there's some times where it's just like, you were doing so good, like everything about this was great, and then it's just like we're riding it right off the rails at the end.
Absolutely.
And just sending it like it didn't need to happen. Like neither Asuka nor Sasha Banks are going to be hurt by Asuka retaining that.
Not at all.
Not
at all. And I will say too that the opening match of the actual pay-per-view, first off, like the pre-show match was good because Buddy Murphy and Kevin Owens, give them an actual 20-minute match, please, because
kickoff KO. Like what the fuck,
right? And but then even like to get like the New Day and Shinsuke and Cesaro. Like that match was really good to open up the show. I thought it was a really smart idea to open the show up with that, and it was cool to see. Maybe they're giving Cesaro and Shinsuke something to do. So I did enjoy that.
You think they did it as a fuck you to Sami Zayn?
I never thought of that.
It's just it's not something WWE wouldn't do. Fucks.
I imagine that I hate to say this, but I don't have, just because we've talked about the tag team division before in the show, and realistically, in 2 weeks, it'll probably be the New Day with the belts again. Like I think this is probably going to be a very short-lived reign.
And that's unfortunate. What are they going to do? Where's the tag division on that brand?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? You got the New Day, you got Miz and Morrison, you got Cesaro and Shinsuke. What is it? Is it going to be heavy machinery? Like, what are you going to do? Like, and more importantly, do I care?
No, because they've not given
Correct
us
answer.
a reason to care.
Right.
That's the point. We would if there was a reason, but you literally have shit all over it for so long that why would I invest in any of it? And I love Cesaro and Shin. I think they're probably better as singles, competitors, but I don't mind.
Yeah, but I don't like them. I like them as a tag team. They're solid.
Yeah.
They're like I like that they're continuing that little stable that they had with Sammy, even though Sammy's not there. So it's just the once again, the belts are just a prop. So are you going to actually use Shinsuke and Cesaro as
a viable threat?
Are you gonna use them to elevate the titles because they're two world-class wrestlers that obviously you wouldn't know that by the way they've been treated?
No, Duncan, that makes way too much sense.
I'm sorry. I'll stop that.
Stop, please. Stop.
I will.
What did you? I don't know if you probably didn't catch any of the Ziggler-Drew match. I didn't.
Did I need? I
don't know that
you
need
to catch any of that.
Not
so
really.
The gist that I caught was that it was an Extreme Rules match, but only for Dolph.
Correct. Yeah, that's kind of stupid, but okay, fine.
I mean, fine. Like, whatever.
Makes Drew look strong, I guess, by beating Dolph. But did anyone actually really think Dolph was going to win? No one in the world
Of course,
did.
nobody thought Dolph was going to win.
And the disappointing thing is, they're, I guess, going to do that match again at SummerSlam. This is what it's sounding like. Because now Drew gets to pick the stipulation.
Oh, that's what we need, is we need to extend this feud.
Oh, definitely. We all need more of that. So that was a bit of an eye roll. And then we get to the swamp match, or whatever the hell they called it, with Bray and Braun.
You know what it wasn't? It wasn't Showdown at the Swamp, and that's a goddamn travesty.
Yeah, you're right. Why wouldn't
That's all I'm going to say.
Missed opportunity, guys. You could have done that.
Seriously.
You own it.
Also, did they drown Braun Strowman?
He dead.
Like,
bro.
is he dead?
He
like,
dead. Never seen him again.
Are they gonna put a tournament for the titles? Like, what? I'm so fucking confused. That's obviously they're setting up for the Fiend versus Braun at SummerSlam, and also I don't care. Like, I want to care, but I don't.
It feels really dumb. I mean, there's a couple cool little, I guess, Easter eggy, smarky things in that match that were cool.
Just like every cinematic match.
I think as a general rule, I think the wrestling fans are kind of over the cinematic matches for a while, unless they have real consequences, unless there's a reason for them, and unless there's something special. The swamp match just seemed a bit like the Boneyard match without a story, and there wasn't,
or like the Wyatt family compound match that the New Day had, or the, you know what I mean,
or the House of Horrors match with Randy back in the day. Like, it did not work for anyone. I liked Ghost Alexa, which is kind of in the brain and like goes back to the whole Little Big team they had in the Mix Max Challenge.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that.
I thought that was cool. I liked the nod to the dilapidated boat, and even, I guess, the end of the match with Braun drowning in, what is this, the swamp of reincarnation? There's a lot of speculation that maybe Braun comes back with a new twist on his character, that maybe, I think they're just gonna align it. I think they're gonna throw a dumb fucking mask on him, and there's gonna be the Fiend's like another Fiend, lackey or something, and we have. I That's the only thing I can think of. I mean,
maybe
I don't hate that either in the short term. At least it makes Braun a little more interesting, because
here's the question: can like Braun do another gimmick besides putting on a mask and shutting the fuck up?
Because that's all he is. He's just a big dude. He's a big dude,
right?
You know, and yeah, I don't know. I think Braun was actually, and I hate to say this because I don't agree with this for most professional wrestlers, but I think Braun's actually at his best when he's a comedic character.
They're at his best when they're having him do that not goofy, but like that over the top shit, tipping over the ambulance, tipping over the cars, like tipping, like pulling down the truss. Like that's the kind of stuff that Braun needs to be doing.
Yeah, when he put Lashley through the fucking wasn't it him? Yeah, he put Lashley through the LED wall to the back.
Yeah.
Like that shit was rad. Like that was cool. I think that was the first week of Heyman, by the way, being in control.
Look, Heyman is a dirtbag to the people that you know what I mean? Like Kazarni. Like that's what fucking Heyman is.
Yeah,
it's just like he's classic. So but he sees a different thing in Braun, and like you throw a little bit of like, we'll throw like a few fucking like flash pops of pyro in there, and like we'll make a breakaway LED wall with some old panels that we don't really care about, and
100%.
Yeah, like it's easy. And Braun, like it's easy to make a big monster dude look like a monster if you throw that little shit at it.
Oh,
but it, like you.
But that's what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's what Heyman's good at, is accentuate the positives, hide the negatives, right? Like that's always been his thing. So that's what he did with Braun, is like he showed, like, don't let him talk. He doesn't need to talk. He just needs to scream and yell. Or if he's going to say something, it needs to be a real short phrase. I'm not finished with you. Because that shit still will make me pop. I don't care. Like if he yells, I'm not finished with you.
Remember when he was chasing around Kalisto? And
oh my god,
that was funny. I like that stuff.
It was amazing. Yeah, like that. But that's the kind of shit that
they need to do with him.
Yeah, because I don't feel like Braun as a serious character
or really a champion really works.
No, it doesn't work as a champion for me.
No, not like, I'm the same.
Yeah, Drew, absolutely. But Braun, no.
No, not at all. Not at all. Do you want to get to some questions from the group?
Real quick before we do,
please.
Does any of them reference that we have probably seen the last of Kairi Sane in WWE?
They have not, but that was very surprising because the reports have been so back and forth over the last few weeks. She's going, she's staying, she's going to be an ambassador for Japan. She's, it seems like every other day you've getting a new report about Kairi Sane, which, and then she goes and wins against Bayley last night on Raw, and then today it's all coming out apparently that she's done.
That's it. That she's done. Like they actually like let her go out on top, which is weird.
And maybe that adds some credence to that new the Japanese kind of like ambassador thing that they're trying to butter her up a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. It's just like WWE signed up so much talent that they could never possibly use all of them.
Exactly.
Right. And that's how that's how they ended up losing the Good Brothers. That's how Chris Hero is now back on the independent scene. Rachel Ellering as well. So I don't know, man. Like they kind of fucked over. They did two things. They fucked over the wrestling landscape by hiring up everybody and being like, well, we know we're not going to use most of these people. But then the second thing they did is they made an entire crop of new stars out of people who wouldn't have been stars otherwise.
Good point. Yeah.
So like a lot of the guys that were wrestling for PWG and on the indies and whatnot, like might not have gotten signed by AEW or Ring of Honor or Impact if WWE hadn't signed up all this other talent in a sweep beforehand. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's very interesting. You looking at the optimistic side of things, Duncan. Look at you.
What do you mean? That's why we started this show.
Well,
it's really easy to be a smart and be like, this is what I hate about wrestling, but it's also at the same time you have to be a realist and think about most of those people. Like, dude, like, yeah, I love best friends and whatnot, but they wouldn't have necessarily gotten on the level that they're at if it hadn't have been for AEW. And like, you know, they're one of those tag teams that, like, when I heard that they got signed, I'm like, that's awesome.
But
wait a minute,
what the hell are they going to do with them? Yeah.
And it's been working and it's been great. And it's, you know, and both of those two guys can work as singles wrestlers, and you know what I mean? And their faction with Orange Cassidy is
definitely
awesome.
Working. Working.
So
and we'll talk about AEW now. I mean, it's a good time to actually switch gears because a lot of the questions that I have are AEW related. And we'll just go ahead and, you know, say that I really enjoyed. We haven't talked at all about, of course, Fight for the Fallen.
We have not.
I loved the orange juice on Jericho spot. I thought that was great. I thought it was really well done. I like Jericho's promo as now being the demo god.
He's so ridiculous and just like
and so good.
Bravo, Jericho!
Yeah.
Like, you son of a bitch! Like,
you really are starting to get the GOAT like thing. Like, I mean,
man, like he can literally turn everything into
gold.
I mean, minus this whole pissing match with Sebastian Bach he's got going
I don't know much about this.
Oh, so
he's just like calling him out for lip syncing, Sebastian Bach or something.
Sebastian Bach called him out for lip syncing, and Jericho's like, dude, I don't lip sync. And God, I don't know. There's just a back and forth. Like, Jericho's like, I could hit a G4 octave, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
I don't even, whatever.
Like, whatever. Just, God damn it. Like, don't bring Sebastian Bach to Dynamite, please.
No,
that's all I ask of you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
That
was the other thing that was part of the Good Brothers joining AEW if they were to have done it. Is that they were going to be their manager. Yeah. They were going to join the Inner Circle. They were going to be the heavies in the Inner Circle. That was what they were going to do. Which makes complete sense.
So that would have meant that LAX wouldn't have,
probably not.
See, or would it have meant that because I don't know, Jake Hager, Rock Hard Jake Hager is the I can't believe I just said that. But he's the muscle, right? Like he's the enforcer, which would have been Gallows. So
they might not have had
Anderson have filled it. So it's like either you're not going to have Proud and Powerful in there,
right?
Or Sammy and Jake Hager. Like,
I feel like it would have been LAX or Proud and Powerful. I think that would have been probably the way they would have gone. But
I'm glad that they are in the Inner Circle and getting some spotlight because they're a fantastic tag team.
That they are, and I think it's good for Jake Hager too. I think that otherwise he might have got lost in the shuffle as just a single star.
If he would have even gotten that, because at some point you got to be like, oh, it's Jake. You know, it's like whatever. We the People is kind of you know, having been a part of the Inner Circle and like having Jericho as a mouthpiece and not having to cut his like not having to speak for himself, not having, you know, he's just like the quiet guy who, you know, whatever is going to do a shot and then punch Hangman in the face, like that kind of shit. That works for Jake Hager. Don't make him talk.
Yes, I agree. Moving on, what did you think of the Brian Cage loss? Deuce says, I think it might have been the only way for him to lose and still look strong. Great booking by the AEW team. I don't exactly agree with that statement. I think that there's other ways they could have done that without the Taz throwing in the towel. I think there needed to have been something a little bit more screwy on Moxley's side to warrant it. I'm not a huge fan of Cage losing that. I do think it actually makes him look like a bit of a chump, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that they're kind of relying now on just the Taz FTW belt to elevate him to a different level so it doesn't matter as much. But we've got to have a rematch, I would assume.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And one would assume that, like, you'd have to have Cage go over.
Yeah.
Because the dude, like, Moxley is not an invincible champion. I don't know why they're booking him as one.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the few things I've agreed with Jim Cornette on recently. I heard his take on it, and he's actually kind of right. He's saying exactly that.
Damn it! I don't want to say anything that Cornette's saying inadvertently.
But yeah, it is true. Like, Moxley's being booked very strangely. He's being booked as this just like, yeah, invincible, kind of guy, and I don't know that that's the way he needs to be booked. He needs to be booked as a guy that can, like, defeat all odds, that can overcome things, that can, it's almost an underdog-ish scenario.
I think that they will try and avoid that at all costs because of how many times they tried that in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to really play to his character of Jon Moxley. It plays to Dean Ambrose. Doesn't play to Jon Moxley.
Yeah,
Jon Moxley is a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
And that's how he need. Like, again, I think that he's had a
lunatic,
good run.
Duncan, lunatic.
No, no. He's the lunatic fringe.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
My
the Ambrose Asylum.
Sorry.
Motherfucker. No, so I was just thinking about how frustrating that shit was, and it's just like,
oh god, yeah, don't even think about it, Duncan. Just move away.
Yeah. So like, I think that Jon Moxley, but the problem is, right, is Jon Moxley and Joey Janela as sort of like their lane. Those two are very similar in the, you know what I mean, like the death match.
Never thought of that, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, like, Joey Janela was sort of the new king of the deathmatch for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, now, like, obviously there's a lot of other deathmatch guys out there, but he's still, like, sort of when Moxley went to WWE, Janela kind of stepped up and became
took that
the
mantle
and yeah. So, and like, they had a match, but that was a letdown. You know what I mean? Like, the match between
yeah.
Exactly. Like, you forgot they did. So
that's something that they could revisit easily down the road or down the
absolutely.
line. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that I don't know.
They're not looking at Joey as a main event guy right now, though, either. Like, they're looking at Joey as kind of, I hate to say it, but almost more of a comedy character, like, in a lot of ways.
He can do that, though.
He
like,
can.
The bad boy, like, the bad boy works as sort of like a sleazy kind of like, yeah, I'm a bad boy, and I know, you know what I mean? Like, it works as how he's doing it. I think AEW also is running into the problem of too much talent and not enough time.
They're getting there. They're definitely getting to that level, which is so strange within, it's a year and a half,
yeah.
It really isn't that long. But next question from the group. Do you think AEW Dark needs its own women's, men's, and tag titles? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think you can maybe get away with having a Dark champion, but I don't even think you really need that. I think you keep it as a separate entity. I think that you
Yeah.
just use it as a B show where some of the talent that is trying to increase their reputation to get major matches on the main roster, if you want to even call it that. I think it's just a nice showcase for them to do so and kind of to build their record, to build the ranks. You're in agreement?
I don't think you don't need titles for everything.
You don't, no.
Right? Like, you really don't. I think that you could do a dark champion, yeah, but like, why do you do that?
If you're gonna do it, you do it as an internet champion. Like the kind of the Zack Ryder thing or something like that. You do it as
the Matt Cardona thing.
The Matt Cardona. My apologies, but yeah, I think that would be the only way that you could kind of pull that off. And then once you do that, you do sort of then run into the risk of, well, now we need a women's one, now we need a tag one, now and then before you know it, there's too many goddamn belts and no one can keep track of anything, which is part of the problem that WWE has. I actually wish that WWE just had one tag team championship that floated between brands. I think they can warrant it now with the women's division because they've done a little bit more effort into building that. But there's no need. And I think things do get cluttered, if you will, with too many belts in one promotion. So
absolutely,
no is my answer to that.
No, I'm in complete agreement with you.
Right.
Like, why?
Thoughts on the return of heel Kenny Omega? Looks like the cleaner was coming out a little bit in his attack on Marco stunt. Yeah, it did. They kind of addressed some of this on BTE, and it's, a little bit even more reaffirmed. Like, he went to check on Marco's stunt, and then afterwards was like, fucking pussy. Like, meeting your heroes. Oh, fucking pussy, So, I don't know if it's going to be full-blown healer. Or cleaner, rather.
Healer?
Cleaner. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be full-blown cleaner, but I can see them, I think this whole time we've sort of expected Hangman Page to be the one to turn full heel and turn on Omega. I think they're going to flip-flop that. And I think that this is a way to actually build Hangman as a face and make Kenny the heel. I also will say it's going to be a long-ass time before you see Kenny in a main event feud. He will eventually probably get the AEW championship years down the road, but he's got time to do it. He doesn't, and as an EVP, he's not going to do that right away, especially when you've got Cody with the TNT championship. So my position on it is, yes, he will turn heel. I don't know if it'll be the cleaner per se, but I do want to see him in a leather jacket and give a good old good night.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're not wrong. I think, though, what'll probably happen is I think what's more likely to happen is that we're gonna see the Elite split. Yeah. Like, that's what we're starting to see. 100%. So Omega goes heel and goes cleaner and doesn't need anybody. He still has to have good matches. Like, he doesn't need the title.
Yeah.
But he has to have some main event matches. Now, granted, the stats, he has performed better and his win-loss record is better in AEW than it was in New Japan, and everybody's like, oh my god, New Japan, blah blah blah. Right. But like, when you break it down, he has done better overall in AEW, both as a single and tag. Like, so I think that you will see Hangman sort of align himself with FTR a little bit,
which is cool. Sort of, And they're Southern boys too. That kind of fits in.
They're all Carolina boys, so like that, like, I get it. Like that can work. And the Bucks are sort of you know what I mean? Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. in every single BTE scene, that's all of them, Hangman looks completely disinterested in everything that they're doing. Like he's always just on his phone. You know, Kenny's started doing that more now too.
Well, he's gonna kill Colt Cabana apparently at some point. He's
yeah, and honestly, like that will probably be how he goes full cleaner.
Yeah.
Is he's just gonna like, it'll be during Dynamite, and he'll like, he will like, Colt will have a match or something, and there will be some sort of altercation, and Kenny will destroy him.
And then you can do a good feud with Kenny and Colt, and then you can do a good feud with, of course, Hangman, of course, and Kenny can have, quite a series of good matches. I think that'll probably happen as well. So yeah, I see the value in turning Kenny heel. I do like that idea, and I think there's a good way to then help put other people over. You know what's really interesting too? We just talking about BTE, and kind of the split of the elite. You haven't seen Cody on BTE in months, I want to say.
No. Not really his. Yeah, that's very interesting.
I think that's telling.
I say very interesting, but yeah, I think it's telling, and I think Cody works better as a heel as well.
He does. I mean, and if this 4 horsemen type thing is to be believed, then yeah, you can see him maybe as a leader in that. Or
what if Hangman was the 4th?
I was thinking about that too, because I'd much prefer that than Shawn Spears. Like, it would make more sense.
I could see it would definitely make more sense. Like it would definitely be that sort of almost Evolution kind of stable.
Man. That would be cool
with Cody being the veteran, and like Hangman in that position. I don't know, that could really
I guess that the only thing that it sort of ruins that in my mind a little bit is if we're doing this Kenny thing to put Hangman over as a face, but maybe we're not.
Yeah,
because the horsemen have to. I mean, that has to be a heel stable. Like, you can't do that as right.
It's gonna be like the NWO or DX.
Yeah, they're so
like,
cool.
Even if you start,
even
if you started as a heel stable,
I'm with you on that.
It's not gonna.
Yeah. They're still gonna get cheers, and even the Revival right now, if we had live crowds, the Revival would be getting huge pops.
Huge
pops.
Fucking pops. Huge. They would be huge.
Moving on a little bit here. Where does Rey Mysterio go from here? Don't know how you can come back from having your eye ripped out in kayfabe, so seems like he would be headed somewhere else. AEW maybe, ? Thank you, Jay Jansen, for that question. I don't know.
He's
know
got
that
a relationship with those guys, so
he does, and I know he's on a kind of a per appearance basis with WWE at the moment in his contract, so he's not under a long-term deal, and so I guess like it's not out of the question. I personally don't think that that's going to happen. I think that Rey, as he was getting dragged off with the eye thing, they literally like said, "Oh, the doctors or whatever like said it, like there's a good chance if they, take care of the optical nerve and everything, that he'll be fine. He'll be able to see.
He'll be able to see again."
So they kind of have written it in to keep it open ended. And the reason more than anything that I don't think it's going to happen with him leaving the company long term is Dominic. I think he wants to establish a good relationship with WWE for Dominic. Therefore, he can move him into the PC, and which I'm sure he's already done some stuff there. But yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he's been in, but like I don't know that he's not training or anything.
No. But he's
Yeah.
I could see I don't know. I don't think Rey right now would be a good fit for AEW personally. I don't.
What's he gonna do? You gonna bring him in and feud with Jericho? You gonna bring him in and feud with Moxley? Like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
I mean, he's not gonna sign a long-term deal.
No. No, I think he's more than likely just going to renegotiate a contract with WWE and stay there. Maybe
I'd love to see him pop up in Japan.
that would
and
be
do
cool.
A run.
Do a last run in Japan or something.
Yeah, like I don't know. He could. I don't know.
Or AAA.
Oh well, obviously.
Yeah.
Like he could go to AAA or
And
CMLL in a heartbeat.
And be like the legend of legends down there. So
I mean, yeah, obviously.
I mean, he already is.
That's the one I was like, out of all the masks that you see at the lucha fucking vendors, like they all have Rey Mysterio.
Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? I mean, it's got to be.
It's the most well known. I think.
At this point, like maybe.
And it's the one that like gringos are gonna be like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah. We'll spend $50 on that one.
Dude, if you're spending $50, like it's gonna be a really good one.
A couple of quick ones here. What Good Brothers merch are y'all gonna get, and from where? I need that Talking Shop koozie. Any ideas where to find it? I'm not gonna hop into getting any merch at all right now because I don't have a job.
Truth.
So I'm waiting on that a little bit. I imagine that Impact Shop is going to be your best bet to find all that, and I do believe
they are also at Collar and Elbow, which isn't that Al Snow's company? Yes,
Al Snow's company.
And I believe if you use promo code HOOT, HOOT,
I love it.
you get. I'm plugging their fucking promo code to try and get you to save money and get them money. You see what a mark I am?
I love it though.
Christ.
No, I love it. Yeah,
so promo code HOOT get you a discount ski.
Yeah.
I would definitely get the if I also had a job. That might ever come back. I would probably get the Sex Ferguson jacket.
Oh yeah,
I think is only like $40 or $50. It was surprisingly reasonable.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, I'm like,
is it like it's the satin one, right? It's
it looks like the Ribera Steakhouse.
Oh god damn it! Don't you have a Ribera Steakhouse jacket?
No. No, I wish I had a Ribera Steakhouse jacket. I had a bullshit fucking like Goodwill jacket I used. No, I'm not that cool. I looked for one, but they're fucking hard to find.
Oh, I bet.
Also now, pandemic, very hard to find. Although I haven't looked in a while, but maybe there's one on like OfferUp or Mercari or something. That would be
that would be your best bet, something like that. But yeah, Collar and Elbow. I checked their site out not too long ago, and they actually have some really good looking wrestling T-shirts. Like they're not gaudy, you know. Like they're like. You probably wouldn't, if you weren't a wrestling fan, you probably wouldn't even guess that it was a wrestling shirt, which is has pros and cons.
It's an old school sort of like vibe to it, like the, you know.
No, I dig it.
I do too.
Last couple bits of info or news or whatever you want to call it. What do you make of Tessa Blanchard wanting $150,000 to return the Impact Wrestling belt? Did you hear about this one?
No.
Yes. So this came out today. There's a bit of news that after she got released, they're like, yeah, so can we have her belt back? And she's like, no,
you dum-dums.
She's like, no, well, you can, but it's going to cost you $150,000. 1,000. Sorry, yeah, $150,000.
I think those are the same thing.
Yeah, they are. I've just had 3 beer skis, and yeah.
3 beer skis. Dude, that is, I'm not gonna lie, that's amazing.
It's like, kind of fuck her, but kind of like
what a cunt move, but like what a pro cunt move. Yes. What an amateur dumb shit move of Impact, right? Because fucking Ric Flair did that shit. Like you fire him and he has the belt, and it's just like at one point he had a $10,000 deposit against the belt. You know, back in the day,
that's what you had to do. Yeah, you had to put a deposit down.
If you were the champion, you had to put your own money against the title to say that you wouldn't screw them out of the belt.
Yeah. So maybe something like that comes around. I mean, I imagine that not smaller companies, but companies that allow people to bounce between contracts and, like, you know, I can see something like that coming back, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like, why would you be? I mean, it's just a smart business move. But yeah, I found that really fucking funny.
And that's why Moose has the the TNA heavyweight championship.
Yes, which I heard is it's not the original. It is a remake. Heard that today as well.
It's just like fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Is Arnie. Jesus.
No kidding, right? Where the hell does Tessa go? Because no one wants to hire her, I don't think.
And none of the indies want to work with her either. Like,
she's going to end up in WWE.
She's going to end up in WWE.
I think so. I think that's it's probably the only place left, because I don't think AEW wants anything to do with her.
No, and WWE is the only ones that
will pay for what she is worth money. Let's not beat around the bush.
Dude, she's a great talent, shit person. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think you can say that about some other people. Oh, speaking of shit people, did that get brought up in the group? The fact that Joey Ryan is
It has not yet. It has not.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna first of all, cocksucker move to upload an hour-long rebuttal whatever video an hour before a major wrestling pay-per-view. Like, you were trying to take away.
I didn't even catch that. That's when he posted. So it was before Slammiversary.
Yep.
Where he was previously employed.
Correct. And also trying to like take some of the wrestling attention away from that, and
of course.
And it's just like, wrestling Twitter wasn't having it. They're just like, go away. Like, you're done. Like, it's nobody cares. And also, it's a real bad look. Like, an hour-long video, we're a podcast. Like, our show is going to be an hour plus. Like, that's to be expected. But an hour plus or 54 minutes of you basically just gaslighting victims and being like, well, here's your evidence and here's why it's wrong. It's just like, come on, man. Like, not a good look. Yeah. Your lawyer should not have let you put that out.
No, he needs to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. He needs to shut the fuck up. Because the dumbest line that he said, he's just like, well, since no criminal charges have been filed as of yet, I've decided. It's just like,
they can still be filed, bro.
I was like, did the statute of limitations on any potential crimes you may have committed run out? Because I'm pretty sure
that's
that
like
all
7 years or something
in different states, right?
Right. Yeah, it seems very ill-advised for him to make that video. It also comes across as try hard, which I believe was something that you made something you said. And I will say that I trust me, I'm not defending Joey Ryan. I have not watched the whole thing yet. I feel like there might be the possibility of a piling on effect. But when there's that many allegations,
I was like, you can't, like,
not all of them, maybe,
dude. And that's the thing, is like, but even if one of them's true,
that's all that matters.
Too many.
That's all that matters. Exactly. It just
like,
takes the
fact
one
that goddamn well more than one of them is true.
Absolutely.
Like, the fact that people he used to regularly employ and who used to work his shows regularly are some of the most vocally against him.
Yeah, like, that's a big one. I'll also say this. I thought he still had the mustache, but I guess he was wearing the beard, right? In Impact.
He was full beard. He was cancel culture Joey Ryan.
Right. I'll say, just, it sounds weird, but even, shaving the full beard off and being clean shaven at the moment feels a little bit like you're running away or trying to change your identity or trying to escape something.
Yep. It definitely does. And it's been long enough that since these allegations broke, that like you could tell that he very recently shaved the beard, and like he's been keeping it shaved.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's hiding.
Yeah,
he's hiding. I mean, that's
he doesn't want people to recognize him.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the Saddam Hussein effect, right? Like this, you grow out his beard as long as possible. It's what every criminal does. You change your appearance after you're guilty of something to get away from the law or whoever's trying to find you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's fucking doing.
And nice backdrop, asshole.
Oh, come on.
Got a refrigerator in your, like
no magnets on your fridge. What kind of sociopath doesn't have any magnets?
Any magnets? Exactly. Like, and you couldn't find a better place to do it than your kitchen nook, buddy.
Come on, man. Like, I know he has a pool. Like, be a total dickhead about it. Do it out by your fucking pool.
You know what? I would have given him more credit for that because he would have been relaxed. He would have been, it's just like, hey, check it out. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Shit,
like,
potentially.
Right. Yeah. It's a great point.
It's still like it's a dickhead move, and also it's just like I don't think anybody wants, like, you don't go here anymore. Like, you fucking, like, you got to leave. Like, nobody wants. Yeah. Some people are gonna buy his shit. You know who's gonna buy his shit? Ironically enough, are gonna be the same like Jim Cornette fans that like hated him an hour ago.
Yeah, it's not. It's a really good point. Oh God, the wrestling world 2020. I'll tell you what.
Like every year, I'm like, it can't get more ridiculous. Oh, it did get more ridiculous.
Look at that! Yeah.
Great.
100%. Yeah.
Jesus. What we got any more questions from the group?
That's it from the questions. We can wrap this up. Oh no, there's 100% something we need to discuss, and kind of ties into actually what we were just saying with the Speak Out movement and everything. Because you sent me a wonderful promo earlier today from Brody King. And obviously Brody King, Ring of Honor, part of Villain Enterprises, maybe formerly, I think maybe. Yeah, obviously Villain Enterprises led by one Marty Scurll, who has been accused of some pretty shitty things.
And that's the one, right? Like that's the one where we've constantly been back and forth where we're just like, it's like, well, that's really sleazy, but I don't know if it's illegal.
Yeah, I think that's what separates that one, is it was sleazy, 16-year-old girl, technically legal in the UK.
And he was 23,
16-year-old girl.
But okay.
Not a great look. Don't love it.
No.
But
it's just like but is where we sort of leave it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it is.
So, but again, saying the fact that Marty, he's dropped off everything, right? Like he has not been on social media, hasn't been like doing any voiceovers for Ring of Honor or anything like that.
And Ring of Honor have not made any comments about it, I don't think either, have they?
I don't think so.
No.
And now with Brody doing this whole, like, his promo was great. Like, and the best part about it, my favorite part about it, is that he's not wearing a shirt underneath that jacket. Like, he is just that tattooed that it looks like he's wearing an all-over print shirt.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, fuck. And I'm
he's
like,
straight edge you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, straight edge me is scary.
Yeah, ooh, terrifying. And what was the main quote? I'm trying to find it because I remember sending it to you.
He said, "No heroes, no villains, just violence."
Exactly, which is very telling that there might be a separation now of Villain Enterprises. Maybe he's starting his own thing. Maybe
I think he's gonna go out on a solo run because I think they see that he is that, like, dude, he could have a monstrous solo run.
He's capable. He's very capable.
Dude, yes, he is exceptionally capable. Like, watching Brody King wrestle for, I don't know, like, he's probably, man, like, he's definitely top 5 for me right now.
He's a scary dude.
Like, and his style is just like, not only is he a scary dude, but like, he can do lucha shit.
Yeah, he's brutal as well. Like, dude, his chops are they're unparalleled. And then you see him do fucking moonsaults and shit. It's like,
right,
get out of here.
And do the lucha like rope jump thing where he like, from the middle rope to the top rope to the middle rope, like you see Ray Phoenix do constantly, and Brody King's doing that shit, and you're just like, bro, you're like 6'5".
Yeah.
And 300 plus pounds. Like, he's a big boy.
Yes, he is.
Dude, him and his wife are two of the nicest people I've ever fucking met.
Who's his wife?
His wife, she's a special effects artist, but when Kelsey and I went to PWG in LA a couple years ago, her and another female wrestler that I had seen at Bar Wrestling, like, were literally standing behind us. So we just started kind of bullshit. I literally had the pin of one of them on my hat.
Nice.
Like, so, but yeah, so it was like super nice, and Brody is super nice. And then he gets in the ring and it's just like, I am actually terrified. Like, he was the first independent, I think it was he was the first independent wrestling like shirt that I bought, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Besides Joey Ryan, I spent like $120 on people's merch at that first Bar Wrestling show. It was wild.
Wow, you were pretty excited, and it was like something so different that you hadn't seen before. And why wouldn't
it
be?
Dude, and it's just like $20 for a t-shirt and $10 for a pin, and just like stuff I may never see again. Yeah.
Unfortunately, say goodbye to that, and
I think the worst part about that too is just like you pulled all of the videos off of High Spots, and like there were some great matches, dude. Like LAX and Lucha Brothers, the second encounter.
You can leave those up, I think, right? I mean,
just cut him out of them.
Yeah,
like, because he was only ever in maybe like one match per fucking show. Like, he wasn't. And half the time he wasn't even in the main event. Like, he'd be on before intermission.
Yeah.
So, fuck it.
Well, I think, honestly, unless you have much more to discuss, I think we can probably just end this one a little bit early. I think we've done, pretty well for a
we don't have any predictions. We don't need to go 2 hours
Exactly. There's no need, and I'd rather just, end it rather than stretch it out for no reason. And
I'm with you.
And I really did enjoy, having this talk with you, because it's been a good one. I felt really good about this show.
Yeah. And I have enjoyed it as well. It was nice to kind of have a show that was sort of outside of our usual, I think, AEW, WWE wheelhouse. Like, we definitely, I liked the amount of wrestling that we were exposed to this week.
Dude, man, we got a lot, and that's really that's a great thing. And we thank you, everybody, for listening to the Oh No Wrestling podcast. Of course, you can find us on Twitch every Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's twitch.tv/ONRS Live. That's my Oh No Radio Show channel. I like to put everything up there, kind of keep it all in one place, but that's where you'll find Oh No Wrestling as well. Of course, you'll find us on the podcasts. If you're listening to us live, just type in Oh No Wrestling pretty much anywhere. We're on the YouTubes as well. You can watch the video feed after the fact. That's on YouTube, and just type in Oh No Wrestling.
Oh No Wrestling as well.
Duncan, my good friend here, has a podcast with our other good brother Matthew. It's called Nobody Cares Go Harder. I think it's nobodycaresgoharder.com still, right? And
yeah.
Anywhere you find podcasts, type in Nobody Cares Go Harder. Check out Oh No Radio Show. We'll be live this Thursday. And next week, it sounds like we might be having our number one super fan, Kyle Deuce, on the show to talk with us. So we'll talk to the Deuce man. The Deuce is going to be loose on Oh No Wrestling of Happy Hour with Johnny and Deuce. That being said, have a good hoot and 2 sweet skis. And what do we say when we get out of here, Duncan? Woo!